All right, so we're going to make a batch of cell activator with this Little Pigment. I'm doing Nebula today. It's, all I can say that it reminds me of is Prussian blue. It's like a super deep navy with a little bit of gold-ish, greenish. I don't know how to explain it, but I've got golden heavy gel gloss. I'm gonna use a half a teaspoon of this. I don't have matte gel. It's really hard not to say gel gloss. I don't have gel matte, so I'm using matte varnish. I tried it the other day. I made a cell activator with the TLP rose quartz and it worked great. I've got those all dried over there. Can't really see, but it worked. So I'm gonna make a video of it today. I've got 1 ounce of Australian Floetrol. I already weighed it out. The way that I mixed it up the other day was not my favorite way to mix it up, so I'm gonna try it a little bit different today, which meant that I wanted to weigh this before I started. So this is 1 ounce of Australian Floetrol. I'm gonna do half a teaspoon, and the first time I made it with a half a teaspoon of pigment, but the recipe calls for a full teaspoon, so anywhere between a half and a full teaspoon of pigment, theoretically, should be fine. I've got a, can you focus? This is a half teaspoon measuring spoon. So I'm gonna start with dry so that I can just use the same exact spoon. I need a popsicle stick. Are you still in frame? No, you're not. This has been used before, I don't know why. Sometimes that doesn't come off the first time. Whatever. Okay. All right. I don't care what I'm doing. I always close these before I start bringing liquid into my environment, just because I'm clumsy and I don't want anything bad to happen to it. All right, I'm going to wet them with my matte varnish. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to wet my teaspoon and hopefully rinse most of this off. So let me be weird about it. You probably can't see what I'm doing. Half teaspoon. And I'm probably gonna try to stir a little bit with this. There's so much on it, I feel bad. Stir, 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 stir. Just making sure that all of the dry powder becomes wet. If you've got any little lumpies in there, try to beat them up. See, this color is really impossible to see, but it's really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna just do a little teeny drop more. I'm trying to rinse out the spoon. As weird as that sounds. Okay. This is really thick and pasty, as you can see. Really thick. Just sits there and goes blue. I got it on my thing, so let's not try to introduce it to the container. That's, yeah, over the top. It's about a half teaspoon. Okay, plop that in, Close my cover, close my cover. I'm gonna put this in some water. Boom. And this is gonna make an ungodly thick paste. And the last time I made this, when I made it with rose quartz a couple of days ago, I just poured all of the Floetrol in at once and stir, 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 because it immediately turns into like big lumps, like hard lumps. But this time I'm gonna add it slowly and hopefully it won't be so messy, but we shall see. All right, nice thick paste. You could do a impasto painting with this with a palette knife. Oh, so thick. All right, so I've got my Floetrol. I'm gonna add just a little bit of it, okay? And stirring. Break up the middle, stir around the edges, break up the middle. This is literally how I stir everything. I scrape all of the bottom of the middle, and then I mash everything into the sides, and then I scrape the bottom of the middle and mash everything into the sides. It means you have to scrape your edges a lot more, but I feel like you get a more even mix faster. Okay, now I've got a bunch of lumpy clumps on my spatula. I take my finger and squish the inside of the dish, and I'm gonna like wipe it onto my finger through the plastic with pressure, okay? So that wipes a lot of it off. Scrape the edge, get it back down there. Stir, 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 stir. Yes, I'm already liking this method way better. It's so much less messy, and I feel like I'm not gonna have to stir my entire arm off to get it mixed in, which is an absolute plus in this situation. Stir, 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 stir. It's pretty thick. All right, I'm gonna add the rest of this. Just pour it in. Try to let as much of it drip out as I can. I'm not gonna scrape the edges. I'm just gonna let gravity work for me. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And I got most of it, so I'm pretty happy with that. Stir, 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 stir. Scraping edges. Sorry, always out of the camera. Drizzles, snaps back. That should be decent, but you never can tell until you try it. And as I always say in my posts, anytime I make a cell activator, I immediately test it out to make sure that it works. Usually I'll just do a little blob onto a silicone mat because that's the easiest way to peel it off. But because I'm making a video, I'm gonna do a quick tile. I figure that's probably the fastest, easiest way to introduce it to the camera. All right, and we're back. I've got Liquitex Heavy Body Cobalt Teal. It's opaque. It seems like it's thinner than it was when I mixed it, which is weird. Might have to thicken some of these. I've got a mixture of TLP Glisten and TLP Twinkle. So I've essentially got interference blue, green, and purple all in one spot. Yeah, that's much thinner. And that's much thinner. Why are they thin out so much? I've got HGTV Ultra Deep Base here. to the rescue. In real life, when you're just doing this leisurely at home, don't mix it this fast. You're going to introduce a lot of bubbles, and bubbles are bad when you can't adequately torch them. So don't do that. Better. Much better. All right, so it's going to be blue, and then Twinkle Glisten, and then this is Deep Magenta, also Liquitex Heavy Body. It's transparent. From the lids over here. I should probably just take them off. This is not Sherwin-Williams paint. I actually ran out of white paint and didn't want to go to the store and deal with possible shortages, so I just took about 30 different items that I already had in the house and I made my own pillow. It's a little bit thin, but it's got a decent consistency that kind of seems to hold up. So just a smidge more. I should totally measure it the way that Mitchell does when he pours it on, but I don't. So cool. I leave my spoon in these containers. That's a big reason I keep these containers. It makes it easier for next time when I go to grab it. This was the Nebula cell activator that I made. I will typically pour these into a little squirt bottle so that I can shake, but until I've tested it, I don't pour it into a bottle because I might need to adjust it, and there's no better place to adjust it than in a cup. So here I am stirring vigorously, making sure that everything is everything. All right, if it's gonna do it, it's gonna do it. Cool. So, get you kids out of the way. Got a good view here? Yeah. Bloop of teal. That's a fat bloop. Oops. Bloop of my interference. And bloop with the magenta. All right, get you off here. And a little bloopy, bloop, bloop. Maybe a little teensy bit more. Okay. It is haloing around the edges. Awesome, awesome. Get you back to the center just a tiny bit, buddy. Are you in the middle there? Ish. Hush, hush. Nope. All right. Let that develop for a couple of seconds. And while I'm waiting, This is not important in any way, shape, or form. It is more fun than anything. This inevitably falls off anyways, so I just take it off of these straight edges. It's already come off. And at least make an attempt to have my edges be pretty. Like I said, not required, not important. Just something that I do, because otherwise this is just going to be strewn all across my board from the sides. Might as well let my edges have some fun while I'm waiting for my cells to continue to develop in the center. Shh, baby. Drag that paint down gently. Get a little bit of you right there. A little bit of you right there. And I've got it all crooked in its spot now. How centered are you? Not too shabby. Try not to have it obviously crooked, but it's hard on a 24-inch surface to have it exactly straight. Okay. It's traveling to the wrong side. I want you more in the center, friend. Come on, little buddy. All right. I've got some heavy paint holding down my plastic on the far left side here. I'll hold it manually. Oh my, gassy puppy. Doing a video, man. So I would say the cell activator works. I might thin it just a teensy smidge, like a drop or two more of Australian Floetrol. But I think that turned out really nice. A benefit of using an interference color in with your other medium colors is that even if you blow through the pillow, which I did in 2 spots, a lot of times when it dries, you'll get this sheen of interference color over the white, and so it's not just boring, flat, white paint. It ends up being sparkly. And looking at it from the sides, it is kind of sparkly. So, I'll get you and take you in here. That is quite pretty. I got the shimmer. So it wasn't perfect, but it definitely worked. And there you go. We used Nebula, this little piggy pigment, to make a cell activator. All right, so I went ahead and I thinned it a teensy bit more. That's pretty good. I thought it was pretty good before, but that could be better. All right, get everything ready again. I like to close it up in between, whether I'm going to do one immediately or not, just for cleanliness and to make sure that things don't start drying. Because just because I'm not using it doesn't mean the air is not killing it. right here. I really like to bump things and drop things while I'm doing it. Obviously not on purpose, but that is a big reason that you see me taking the time to close everything up or get it way out of my way, because I really like to bump into things and then have an entire thing wasted or messed up. It's a side hobby of mine, apparently. Now you thickened up even more than before. Thanks a lot. Okay, you have the tiniest dog hair. Awesome. Nebula cell activator. Shh, puppy. And that's more than I need. More than enough. Whew, we ready? All right, that's definitely got enough air on it. Lots more cells. I feel like this one is immediately doing better than the last one. I immediately touched the wet spot on my paper towel. Get you pushed back. I'm gonna have to peel the dried paint off of this side of my pool because it's weighing down my plastic and making the sticks on my spinner hit it. All right. That's pretty darn nice. Let's do a gentle spin. For some reason, I always start out with a counterclockwise spin. I don't really know why. That just seems to be the trend. This spinner would literally go for minutes and minutes. So I have to stop it so I can look. That's so pretty. I'm gonna take you down. My boy hears the neighbors just out there living their lives. They're not doing anything crazy. They don't really even make noise, but he hears it. Gosh darn it, does he hear it? You good? Is it right there? All right, and we'll go clockwise this time. These are both very pretty. I can see the other tile from here. Very, 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 very pretty. But the cells and the lacing are totally different. So a lot of times there's absolutely no reason to come in and, you know, modify your blooms. But sometimes I do it, if nothing else, just as a little bit of a cheat to see how much paint is still on my substrate. Like, you see how far it goes in? There's not very much left on here. And it's usually better to wipe it off in between, silly girl. You can barely see that one. This paint's a little bit thick on that edge. And just this little part right here. Yeah. Okay. And one last spin. I think it's pretty well. Okay. Now I'm just losing cells off of that side. So very pretty. I like it. I like it a lot.